Hello, 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 everyone. Happy Wednesday. Oh, see, we got Waka Waka Black Wednesday. Which day isn't black, Waka Waka? Pays to be bearish. Oh, Waka Waka. What are we going to do with you? Davey, welcome, welcome, welcome. Tesla Target down 24, almost 25% pre-market earnings. The guidance was horrible. Gonna have to pass along more costs to consumer. Inflation just wreaking havoc. Fuel costs skyrocketing stuff. It was just an ugly earnings report if you didn't see it, and guidance and everything. Ugly, getting crushed, just like Walmart got crushed yesterday. Let's see. I think we're going to retest the lows of last week based off Elliott Wave. I do agree. I have some similar Elliott Wave counts. I don't know whether we'll do it this week with that big options expiration and the potential 4,000 pin, but it is a potential, and that I am looking for a bigger down move. Good morning, Ken. I'm on, especially the S&P and the NASDAQ, expecting that. Let's see. Davey, building permits, actual 1.819, 1.812 previous. Yeah, we'll take a look at those numbers in a second. Yeah, target miss on EPS. So, well, thank you, everybody, for putting this in. By the way, if you want to be part of this community and you are new here, please do consider subscribing, ringing that bell, and hitting the like button, because you'll never know when I have to do an emergency live stream session, so you definitely want to subscribe and ring that bell. Could I get some more of the longer-term subscribers? Some of you are doing it to pop in and leave some comments, even if they're just quick. Please, 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 we are attracting some new people, but I'd like to continue it to grow and really help people with what's coming up. Well, let's take a look at this real quick. So thank you in advance for doing that. Please, it helps it grow, and a lot of people are going to get hurt, especially the routine dip buyers or the people who have never experienced a bear market yet. Again, mortgage applications down 11%. Housing market definitely starting to roll over. Don't know how big a drop we'll get yet. Around us, I'm following it tight because I want to get my house listed. I just had to find a new place to live first, because with the 5 dogs, you can't just move into a hotel. But it is definitely, houses are still getting snapped up, just not at quite the pace, and there is tight inventory, but I'm watching that very closely. Building permits down, housing starts down slightly. You can see that month over month. Housing starts a slight miss. Going to be paying attention in about an hour and 20 minutes to the crude numbers. Crude pulled back to the 4-hour rotation zone and trying to get that rotation back up. And we have Harker speaking pretty much after the stocks close. FOMC still at 87% at that 50 basis point, 13% at 75. We're still in negative gamma territory. Reminder, this is going to change on Friday. We have a massive, I don't know why that's not clicking. It's at 4,000 though. It's probably because these other windows will tell me to update my password even when I have, due to streaming stuff. It's ridiculous. By the way, we were talking about Target this morning. That's down 25%. Lowe's was also down. Didn't check on TJ Maxx, but I didn't see them posting great numbers. So here's your rollover play. We are in the rotation zone, as I talked about yesterday, and we're between, especially the S&P, between the 50 and the 62.5, which is the reversal zone. So far, reversing. Let's take a look at the shorter term. Again, for me, we had this little sell-off. I'm watching this. This is still a valid potential double. We need to get below, nice on a closing basis, below 4,041.75, 4,275, 39.80, 9.25, 39.35, and that takes us essentially back to the 50% level of this run-up. Okay, so this pattern can still complete, and we could still stay in this range. Where do I start getting? So that would make me minor bearish. Again, long term, people have been following this. I know a lot of you, the regulars here, know this. Long-term bearish. Short-term, we had the bullish run. This would be a short-term bearish. What would get me into a much more bearish position? We get the close back below the 62.5. Why? Because that's around 39.45. Because then statistically we favor a return to the 87.5, about 38.85 to the most recent lows and a potential break of those lows. But we have to complete this first pattern first. If we rally back up, minor level I'm watching today after the open is 40.64, then the return to the 4,094 to 4,100. Above there, as long as we don't get the close above 41.35, we're still in the rollover pattern. Intermediate level would be 41.25. But what my advice would be, if we push down a little lower than these lows from yesterday, I'd be doing the reverse harmonics back in this way for those longer term members who know how to follow that. Again, 4 hours sitting right at the bottom. What's interesting, we get this double triggered on a closing basis. We're back below the 4-hour rotation zone, and we might get the double cross pattern, which would be the bigger correction then on the daily, and that would confirm, a nice little double cross pattern would confirm essentially that we are rolling over. Whether we'll get to new lows this week or next week, we will wait to see. But again, this target earnings was really bad, and it sort of reiterates what we saw yesterday with Walmart. Inflationary pressures are really starting to kick in and hurt. Now, we don't have a potential on the NASDAQ because it doesn't reverse enough move. Key area I'm watching, we're back below the 4-hour rotation zone, but I'm watching to see 12,321. If that breaks, my next target is 12,237, and then watch out. And people are like, why can't you use the targets? Because this is the move that started it. But this gets interesting because we have a clear path move. There aren't a lot of stopping points. There's a minor stopping point right here. Okay. Right before the 62.5. So on a bigger sell-off, not necessarily today, but on a bigger sell-off, I'm watching 12,058 to 12,020 area. We get the close below about 12,020, target the lows with probable new lows in there. Let me take a break for a second. Waka Waka thinks the push down is going to kill all those dip buyers, then hit near bottom of last week, then rally up 30%. All this will kill the bears and bull. You're just killing everybody, Waka Waka, and I don't necessarily disagree with that. Because you really got, market's going to create pain for everybody. We could then get the medium-term rally. Remember, in bear markets, you do get these medium-term rip-your-face-off rallies, these 30, 40% rallies, where the dip buyers are flushed out. Then the dip buyers rush back in because the bears get flushed out, and they think the worst is over, and then it rolls out and flushes everybody out again. Guys, this is where this is why it's so important to trade the probabilities and trade the setups, because the timing's tough in bear markets, especially long-term bearish. The timing's a little tough in these tactical trading markets. What do you think Friday will do to the market? I think today and tomorrow will go down and we'll go back up Friday thanks to options expiry. Very, very probable. Remember on and we're watching the stuff on the SPX. SPX is going to, which is the cash index. SPX is 4,000 is the area to watch on here. Okay, so that's really critical. So we could push just below it and then snap back on Friday. That's why I'm not watching really for the flush out move yet, potentially until after at least until after Friday. Looking at the Dow also reversing. Dow does also have a double top pattern in place. 32,238, close below that. 32,446, 31,941. That's the two targets. Major I'm watching. Minor would be 31,853. The tipping over line the sand is 31,730, 31,727 to be exact on a closing basis. But right around in here, we got a couple harmonics and a double target. This could be a temporary support zone, especially going into Friday. What tips me even more so with Friday, before Friday, is if we really get a move below that 62 and a halves. On a move back up, I got to update these harmonics again. If we start rallying, I'm paying attention to these harmonics. So a rally would take me back to minor would be about 32,400. Then I'd be 32,500, which is a 12.5% harmonic. The 50% harmonic of this whole recent down move, 32,588 to 32,600. And then I'd start doing reverse harmonics back up. If you don't know what those are, that's why you got to keep watching the channel. No double in the Russell. Right now, key area I'm watching on the Russell's 1803. We get below that, I'm essentially keying off the harmonic. 786. What tips it over back to bearish on the Russell is 1751. DAX, we broke out of the channel, and I reversed the harmonics. The only thing, but why did I reverse them? I wanted to see if we're going to get a close above 62.5, which is 14,322. We have not yet, because we're just poking into the weekly rotation zone. So DAX, I need to see it get back into the channel below about 13,970 to shift to short-term bearish again. Crude, trying to hold the 4-hour rotation zone, pausing here. Remember, numbers come out in an hour, 15 minutes. I'm still watching for the bullish plays unless we really collapse back down below 107. So still keeping an eye on that. I mean, we still have China reopening. Fundamental, it's held up really well with the China shutdowns and now China reopening. The damper on this is with the slowdown numbers. However, from the fundamental perspective is OPEC's not going to pump more. So we really have to see an oil price, gas prices. You have some places already tipping over in gas, $6 a gallon, and other places besides California not hit there before, and crude over $7 a gallon. And you want to talk about passing along more inflationary pressures, not good. Gold, slight pullback. If this doesn't get back above 1841 on this area, I'm watching then for the pullback 40 double bottom for a re-adding of a stronger core position again. Silver holding up rather nicely with this rally on a break above about $22. I'm targeting 25.95 with a more aggressive play to the upside. Notes. Not back, still sitting between the 50 and the 62.5, watching for a rotation back up. What would start getting me a little bullish would be above 118.31, but not getting super aggressive until I see some more price action in the market and some more trading today. Back below the 62.5, then which I really love this to break down again, because then I will really watch that pull back for that longer term double, because I am watching longer term for that bottoming position. By the way, so here's why we've just hit the other side of the weekly rotation zone. Now watching for that pullback move, then the break above 120.03, and we could possibly get an accelerated move with temporarily dropping rates on the 10-year back as it accelerates back into the rotation zone, which would also possibly trigger with a bigger market push lower. Again, it doesn't have to happen this week. Dollar index, slight little bounce, but nothing yet. We'll sort of get interested from a bullish. I'm again watching for a potential topping pattern. We did have some divergences. Cycles rolling over on the weekly. I'm now interested if we do get above about 103.81. This is where I like to put the reverse if this is the low so far, because if we can't get above 104.39, rally back in here, it's a potential then the longer rollover play again. So that's how I like to gauge that. Let's see where we sit. Oh, I don't blame Waka. Shorts are killing it this year. I just think Waka, every day is Black Day. We didn't have Black Taco Tuesday. Yes, the consumer's gonna get real, and you know what? Gas What did you see? JP Morgan projecting that the average gas rates this summer could hit over $6.20 a gallon nationwide. You want to talk about crushing the consumer. That's why I said we're going to go tip into, Bob finally agreed with me that we're going to hit a recession. I think it's going to be a significant recession sooner rather than later. This is not a softest landing. You better be joking, Rich. I know you're joking. Soft bottom last week. I thought it was big bottom. Soft landing on a nuke, you guys. Well, I thought you upgraded. You upgraded to a mansion on an island, and now you're back to your cardboard box, Waka Waka? What is going on? Yeah, Harker is a soup. Who said it was that Harker? Who said it was back to 25 basis points going into the end of the year, which is probably closer to what they're going to do. Good morning, Sterling. Welcome. Good morning, Lauren. Take profits when they are there until you get the bigger, remember it's tactical until you get the bigger setups. Timing is key. Do you see the final flush on the NASDAQ? Well, are you talking medium or long term? Medium or long term? Oops. Clicked on, I was wondering what I was doing there. Next, we bounced off the 50. The next flush I'm expecting, now this could be where we set up the medium-term bottom, somewhere in terms of this, but I would not be surprised to see it get us closer to 10,450. Why? Because anywhere in here is the bigger area for a medium-term bottom. And then I'm still expecting another rollover play to take that out personally. But medium-term, I'm watching this. Ideas on what's happening with NASDAQ. I think I went through that already. NASDAQ could get caught up. We're going to watch for that rollover. But NASDAQ, we got options expiration, which throws a sort of monkey wrench in the equation. Once that's out of the way, we have some more upside, some more downside potential before we could put in another better, stronger bottoming pattern. What Yellen, rising food and energy costs having stagflationary. Why are these people always so far behind the curve? How long have we been talking about this stuff? Like, it's shocking now? Like, what would Powell say, yesterday, that inflation really ramped up in October, or the inflationary stance changed in October? What, I don't remember what his exact words were. No, it didn't. It kept going up in October, but we've been talking about this for over a year now. Thanks for responding to other people with the comments, because especially new people who might not tune in with the regulars and might need to be part of this channel on a regular basis to get some clarity. And you do, just to reiterate the flag pattern, there is this flag pattern right here. It's a little weaker because of this rollover, but if you're watching for that longer term play, that is it's a very weak rollover flag. What would be interesting to me is if we come back down to this area, get a little bounce, and we get then a nice head and shoulder pattern, would be really nice in the NASDAQ to trigger back for the lows. I like Black Wednesday. Well, tomorrow we could be Black Thursday. Is it going to be Black Friday, Waka Waka, based off could be a bounce in the Black Friday, or is it just going to be TGIF? Wavy's very bearish themselves short term, long term. I don't think bulls stand a chance in this inflationary environment. Forget about recession. We may enter a depression. Well, we'll see about that, and whether they it's going to be so interesting, because I don't see, if they want to tame the inflation, how they can open the money spigots. They can slow down the rate hikes, but we got some interesting stuff in place. Paul, is that backwards to the NASDAQ 10.3. Long term, I even see it below there, that 10.4 area. But short term or medium term, I don't. Remember, I've talked about timing with systems. Price and the timing gets harder to determine. That's why longer term I watch for fundamentals. Like I want to see NASDAQ start hitting on an average PE of 16 because this is when fundamentals really matter. And this is where the overall section, if you get back to that NASDAQ, we get back to the weekly, because this is the area with that rising weekly 200 and this 62.5 where we could find a short-term bottom. But longer term, if you guys are as bearish as you think and you want to really get bearish targets, next major long-term bearish targets, if we really start getting the smack down, 8,879 and a potential then of 7,000. There you go with your super we're screwed targets. How would Tesla do today? Well, remember we completed that double pattern today. Tesla looks like it's gapping down. We still have the gap from yesterday. So that's what I'm focused on this morning. That gap, we completed that double yesterday. If we break down with the NASDAQ, support, I'm watching 73.44 to about 77.32. You break below that, I'm watching for the gap fill. If you're using the gap fill harmonics, you start getting a close. I'd be watching on a 15-minute basis at least, about 7:37 on a closing basis. But unless the market can get some bottom here, I'm not watching for much on Tesla. If you do get above yesterday's highs, remember, we're stalling out just with 8 possibly pushing the price, and we've entered the 4-hour rotation zone. Longer term is still in bearish mode on Tesla. So you can use on any rally if it does gap down and fill that gap above about 761, 773. I'm really cautious to the upside unless the NASDAQ can turn around, especially with everything that's going on with Twitter and just from the fundamental standpoint of where the rotation zones are. Everything is still bearish even below 800. So any target would be upside, but I'm focusing on the gap fill today. Do I see 10-year at 4 or first or 2%? That's an interesting question. Boy, you guys are good. We got some smart people in here. 4% or 2%. That is really tough because we're going to be in a potential bigger range now. What is interesting, you're going to have to ask me that if this pattern changed, I want to show you what I'm watching. And I got to get ready for the open. But why don't we go over, can you be here, Raj, after the close today? Because if you can, we can discuss this more. Because this is what's interesting to me. And I'd rather have these kind of discussions after the close, potentially. Where'd it go? Hold on. Sorry, see, even if that head and shoulders, I'd have to, oh boy. 2% would be brutal. We'd have to have the market getting crushed. But if I had to bet, I'd take 2% before 4%. 7K NASDAQ price target is not off the table. No, it's not, theoretically. Waka. 3 to 6. Boy, if we hit below 7 on a weekly closing basis, then it's really bad. Yes, thank you to be here. Sure to tune into the live stream after the close. Yeah, TGIF. Milk to $10. Then we're going. All right, then I will take Waka Waka's price price targets. Capitulation Friday, gas to 20. What are you guys doing? You make me look like a bullish dove. Yes, make sure you join the Discord. That works. Yeah, please come in. Remind me, Raj. I want to have more of that conversation and do some bigger term analysis. Bonds are becoming less liquid more quickly. Their liquidity is drying up, which also we could get a shock push event to the downside. With that, I'm prepping for the... Oh, well, I got 1 minute left. But luckily, I do my prep before this. I just wanted to peek in where we sit. Look at that. Can you see the lines? No. So nothing, no new information just going in. I'll be watching for any momentum off. But even on a snapback rally, like in the S&P 40/50 is major resistance. And 12,400 is major resistance. I'm going to wrap it up for now. Please come back. Oh, look, Costco. Costco's down. All right. Wrapping it up for now. Talk to everyone later. Have a great trading day. If anything major happens, I'll be here for lunch. If not, join me after the close.